We are a sundown town is insane. Saying that Galt is almost as racist. So, my friend here commented and said, "Hey, I feel like Galt is a sundown town. I feel like Galt is a wannabe racist town, kind of like Lodi." So, just to add some context, Lodi is far more racist than Galt. Far more racist. We can get to that later. Um, if you ask my personal opinion, I have been living in Galt for 13 years. I came here as a teenager. I do not think Galt is a sundown town. I do not think Galt is a racist town. Are there pockets of prejudice here? Yeah. Are there some white people that do not fuck with blacks or Latinos here? Yeah. But we live in Galt. It's only so racist you can be here because a significant portion of the population here, I'd say half, moved here either from Sacramento or from the Bay Area within the last 30 to 40 years. Just being honest with you. Now, I can tell you from my personal experience as a black man living here, there were a lot of uncomfortable moments that I did have here. And that's solely because when you're black, I moved here from Georgia. I moved here from Georgia. Before Georgia, I stayed in Alabama. Then I was born in California. But saying all I have to say this. When you're coming amongst white people who aren't used to dealing with black people en masse, you gotta have patience, bro, because it be a lot of moments that you just be like, did you just say that to me? And I always have always said, you rarely, in California, you really don't deal with racism as a whole. In California, you don't really have racism like that. What you do have is prejudice. And what you do have is a lot of ignorance where you'll be talking to somebody like, what the fuck did you say? Like, it was one dude at the gym I go to. It was a Mexican guy too. He told me one time, he said, "Yo, when I first saw you, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was kind of scared of you because you're so big and black, and people of your skin color, they're usually very mean and aggressive." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he was genuinely serious. He genuinely said, "People of your skin color," which brings me to my next point. I feel perfectly comfortable staying here. I have a lot of friends here. I have family here still too. Now, when it comes to raising black kids here, I don't know if I would do that. And that's where the conversation gets a little bit more different. My black experiences, because I think if you're black growing up here as a kid, you'll be cool, you'll be welcome, etc., etc. But there are a lot of black kids here, for the few that you do have, who either one, try to go all the way against the grain of their blackness because they want to fit in a lot. I had a little cousin, Alana. When she went to school, she was telling kids she was Puerto Rican because she didn't want to tell them they were black. When I would go to school to go pick her up, she would tell me, she'd try to get me to hide or pick up around the corner because she didn't want to see that she was related to anybody black. I've also seen where you had the kid who feels like he has to go above and beyond to be a caricature of what being black is and be loud and what's up with it, because there's nobody else. It is something to be said about for black parents who might come from a certain kind of environment. They might work so hard to raise their kids in better environments. And if you live in somewhere like how we are in California doesn't have a lot of black middle class neighborhoods, if that makes it. California doesn't have a lot of black upper middle class neighborhoods. So it is something he said about the experience of you working so hard to raise your kids somewhere better than where you were raised at, but